remarkable, successful 30-year titan in business with having multiple businesses that generate multiplied millions of dollars.
And if that plan happens to be to build $1 million company, which I can help you do.
But he's humble. He's a man of God. He's a family man.
The world's news organizations are built on everything but positivity.
He is an influential entrepreneur and business speaker for over 30 years.
I've got to forecast. I've got to pronounce. I've got to project. I've got to share with you my ideas, my vision, my goals for not only myself, but for you.
That's why he came up with his incredible concept of taking and creating a platform for people that are wired differently.
And you got to understand that your habits of your person and your habits of your business and your habits of your spirituality have to lead to the North Star of who you are. We need to figure out who we want to be in life.
Get better today. Get better now. Get better, get better, get better. We think about that a lot. We think about getting better. We often think about getting better. We're thinking about getting better when we're not even realizing we're thinking about getting better. Being wired differently is, I think, an epic undertaking, to say the least. A lot of you have been following me for a long time now, and some of you are new, relatively new, and I want to thank everybody for following me. I want to thank everybody for understanding this attitudinal disorder that comes along with being a wired differently person, or comes along with being wired differently in this journey, this mindset, this mission, this ministry, this movement. And so today's a Tuesday. Today's a kind of a great day to just kind of chill. We had a setup Monday, and today's kind of a get it going Tuesday. And I wanted to teach a little bit about getting better. I mean, often I think we just take getting better for granted. I think it's ingrained in most of us innately to want to get better. And I think that the calling of me and the calling of you and what I want to provide for you is this opportunity for you to get better. And I think that we're uniquely better in many, many ways because of our belief structure, and because our belief structure allows us to want to grow in a good way, allows us to want to grow not only ourselves, but I think the core of growing ourselves, which we do have to grow ourselves first, is to grow other people to help make them better. And my third book, Your Will Be Done, the pre-sales have been they're out, and we sold a lot in the pre-sales. And July 19th, we will be signing and sending out all of those pre-sale orders I just want to give you that good news, along with the audiobook. I listened to the audiobook last night, and I'm finishing it today. So the audiobook is done. The electronic workbook is done. Everything's coming together, man. It's just so exciting to have great news to share with people and to be moving down this line of pursuit of becoming better. And so I thought this morning I would talk to you about getting better. And I know you want to get better. I know you want to make other people better. I know that, but there's things about getting better. There's some tricks about getting better, and there's some things I want you to focus on getting better. So one of the things I want to share with you is that I coach people on an entrepreneurial mindset. I coach them becoming better in their entrepreneurial mindset. I coach them becoming better and more profitable in their businesses. And the key thing that they have compared to everybody else, obviously, that are successful or not successful, but the ones that are successful with me, is that they really, really, really want to get better. And so I thought I would just kind of start off with a story about a man by the name of David Brailsworth. And I think it's important that you know this man's name, and I'm going to pull him up here in a little bit. But David Brailsworth, in 2004, went to the Olympics as the bicyclist coach for Great Britain. And up until 2004, as late as back in 1908, Great Britain had never, ever even showed or was even in the running for a medal for any type of Olympic bronze, silver, or gold. And Great Britain was just frustrated that it had always been there. It got so bad over at Great Britain that even the stores that were selling bicycles for regular people to ride in, or people to train and be part of, they wouldn't actually sell the bicycles that the Olympic team in Great Britain was using because they couldn't win. So they didn't want to rep a product that didn't win. It was that bad over there. And so the government somehow hired this David Brailsford. And Brailsford came in and he said, listen, we're going to change this whole program around. But I want you to know we're going to get better. We're going to get better quickly, and we're going to get better methodically. And he had implemented this concept called the aggregation of marginal gains. And so I think this is very important for all of you to understand that this concept of AMG is aggregation of marginal gains. And I write about it in my third book, Your Will Be Done, because I think it's important that we're supremely purposeful and focused on getting better. And Brailsford was a genius when it came to that. But he took this concept of, okay, we're not winning. We're not getting better. What's going on here? Let's change this thing up. Let's shake it up a little bit. And here's the concept that I want to put forward. So Brailsford gets there in 2004. I hope everybody can see this. And he changes the entire way that the bike community thinks over there. And this is how I want you to look at your life a little bit, how I want you to look at your business a little bit, and how we can improve. And I'm going to talk to you about getting 1% better in your life every day, all the time, 24/7 times a year. I really think it's important. So David Brailsford set up this entire process is a great dude. He gets there and he says, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get 1% better at 100 things. Metaphorically, we're going to get 1% better at a lot of different things. Brailsford, in the 2004 Olympic teams of Great Britain, won 2 cycling gold medals in 2004 after he implemented this. Then in 2008, they won another 8 gold medals. And then after that, subsequently, they won another 8 gold medals in 2012. 18 gold medals in the span of 3 Olympics by simply executing this philosophy of aggregation of marginal gain. So basically what I'm trying to share with you is this. Brailsford understood this principle of people failing to their goals, but rising to systems. So if we know that most people fail to goals, but we can rise to the level of our systems, isn't that a better way to go? And so Brailsford implemented this process of aggregation of marginal gains. His point was this: let's have a goal of winning gold medals, but let's understand that the bigger process here was understanding that we've been failing to those goals. Let's rise to our systems. The system was to create aggregation of marginal gains. So simply this, I want you to think about your life. I want you to think about your business. I want to think about the project. This is a great lesson for you all this morning to understand that is to get where we want to go, the goals of where we want to go, we need to implement systems. Listen, we know that we can only rise to the level of our only greatest weakness, right? So we've got to figure out our weaknesses. But impounding all of that, we need to also understand that we need to aggregate marginal gains, because if we can aggregate lots of small gains, they will add up to larger gains. Dave Brailsford saw this, said this, and did this. So he simply went into the bicycling community in Great Britain. He said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get 1% better, just 1% better at many, many things, metaphorically 100 things. Because if we got 1% better at 100 things, wouldn't we be 100% better? Makes sense. So when he went into the team, he did a lot of things. He literally made them paint all of the floors on their bicycle trailers white, so they could easily see more of the dirt particles and the dust, the dirt that could be collecting to the tires of the bike that would slow down the drag. He did other things like got 1% in the wind suits. He got 1% better in mental conditioning. He got 1% better in their diets. He got 1% better in their endurance training. He got 1% better in every little thing that they could think of. They made this list of things that they could get better at. And they did that. And so what I wanted to do today was introduce Dave Brailsford for you from Great Britain and talk to you about this idea of aggregating marginal gains and this concept of becoming 1% better. Because we know that if we can get 1% better every day at one thing, we can become 36 times better, 34, 36 times better over 1 year. And so let's take it into the next concept here, because I want to dive into this just a little deeper. I want you to understand that for you to become better in life, as a team, as a father, as a mother, as a coach, as a teacher, as a preacher, as a business owner, I think it's very important that you execute this idea of becoming 1% better. Now, Dave Brailsford took it to the degree of aggregation of marginal gains. So I want you to look at you. I'm going to give you 2 homework today. I'm going to actually teach you how to become 1% better at one thing and expedite your gains of yourself and your personal life and your craft. But I'm also going to want you to understand that aggregation of marginal gains is the compounding of a lot of little things becoming 1% better over time, making the aggregated gains of your life, your goal, your mission, your job, your entrepreneurial mindset largely effective faster. Aggregation of marginal gains. But I want to dive into this concept of becoming 1% better in general. Brailsford took it to a whole new level. 18 gold medals is craziness, right? Especially when you've never won one in your life in the history of the Olympic Games. But how can you become 1% better in your own life? I know you've seen it a lot often. I know a lot of you, I see you commenting out there. It's just great to have you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We have been called to become better. We have become called to become better people. We've been called to become better leaders. We've been called to become better teachers. We've been called to become better humanitarians. I mean, there's just no question that the people are living here and living on this site or watching on this site have want to become better. And so on this short broadcast this morning, before I catch a plane, I got on my way home. I'm in Angola, Indiana here. I'm in my last day of my studio here in Angola, and I just love it so much. I got to tell you, the following has grown. I got to tell you, so many things have happened in the last 2 weeks while I was here. I'm going to be leaving, going back to our Florida home and the studio in Florida. I'm going to see all the employees there. I'm going to see my family. Man, I miss my kids. I miss my grandchildren. We're going to land there for a week, and then we're going to be back to this studio for another week. And then we've got 3 speeches to give, and we've got an excursion tour and a tiki hut retreat that we've got coming up at the end of July. And there's just so much going on. And I think I want to credit that to some things that I've done right. And I think some of the things that I think you need to understand that I am doing right. And it's just this concept of becoming 1% better every day. And the fact that I have aggregated marginal gains. But I want to talk to you about becoming 1% better you right now, every day. I want to talk to you about that because in my book, Your Will Be Done, which is for sale on Amazon right now, and you can go to my website, toddsaylor.com, and get the book. I am so excited about it. I go through this. This is my 3rd book, and it's funny. I write the book, and then I toil and I toil and I toil. And then I rewrite and then I toil. And then I rewrite and I toil. And then I put it in front of some people and then I toil. And then we go back. And I have a great friend who helps me write, Mario. He's just an amazing guy. He helps me put the stories in chronological order and makes everything help it fit. And you can see it from a reader's perspective, maybe a little better than me. But the book is done. And I thought it would be an easier book to write than it was, but it turned out that, I think God called me to write this book, and it became a little more difficult because it became a book about becoming successful. It became a book about becoming successful through God, right? And you don't want to mess up God's word. You want to make sure that you're doing everything you can do to basically get every piece right that you've been called to write. And you want to fact find, and you want to follow up, and you want to take this anointment or this this responsibility of sharing with people the truth, not only in business, but in God's word. And so that's why the book took almost, 18 months to write and get right, but it's done, it's out there. And so when I write it, I have something in my mind and I write it, I pen it. But then when I read it after I wrote it, I hear another thing. And so it's beautiful. So I get blessed by writing it. And then when I read it, I get blessed by reading it because then I learn something from my own writings after I read it, right? And so the last phase of this book and all my books has always been, then I listen to the audiobook that my friend Russell Newton, my now friend, but he's a professional reader, reads the book for audiobook. He's brilliant. He's masterful. He's got my voice and he sounds great. I want to thank you, Russell. I've been listening to the book. I got it last night. And, I thought, man, I want to teach on 1% today because I was so inspired by my own words that I had wrote to you in my book, Your Will Be Done. I think it's important that you understand that you're called to become better till the day you die. I know that you're going to probably fail in health at some point in your life. I know that you're going to fail in mental aptitude at some point in your life. I know I'm watching my father go down this road and my mother go down this road. I've watched people go down this road. And I feel like sometimes, even at the age of 58, maybe my memory isn't quite as good as it once was. But at the end of the day, we're still called to become 1% better from where we are. We're called to become better at somehow, some way, at something. I don't think that we want to just be here not to be part of society, not to be lifting up people, not to be taking people down the road. Todd, someday you're going to be 65, 75. You're going to be imparting wisdom on somebody somehow to make them better, which is making you better. So when my book Year Will Be Done, I challenge people to become 1% better. David Brailsford challenged his entire cycling team in Great Britain to become 1% better in one thing, but not just one thing, but over a myriad of things, maybe 100 things. Let's just take on one thing and become 1% better at a small thing. We're going to aggregate those marginal gains and become massively successful over time. And that's how it works, by becoming 1% better. But I want you to understand, you have a craft, you have an idea, you have a thought, you have a discipline, you have this a thing that you do in life. I'm coaching a man by the name of Brandon. Brandon's an amazing dude, and he's a great coach. He's a great leader. He wants to be a good podcaster. He wants to be a good storyteller. He wants to be good at everything he touches. And what I explained to him is that you have to do it every day. My coach, Delator McNeil, was a speaking coach for me many, many years ago, and I love him to this day. He's a legend. And he would tell you, speakers speak. You have to be in your craft every day. If you want to be good at something, you want to be great at something, you have to do it every day. You have to practice it every day. You have to have the reps every day. Your head has to be in it every day. But what is this concept of 1%? Why does it always have to be 1%? Why didn't someone come up with 2% or 5%? I don't think that there's any latitude or aptitude of 1%, 5%, 6%, 10%. I think it's this discipline of doing something every day in your craft. The discipline of aggregation of marginal gains, the discipline of becoming 1% better, is basically the understanding that if you do your craft 1% better, if you do your craft 1%, if you do it every day, you'll become better than 90% of the world at your craft if you're doing it 1% every day. And so when I started to think about that, how does that actually qualify itself in time and life? Delator McNeil will say, become 1% better every day. Go get it, champ. I've heard people, I'm becoming 1% better. I just want to help you understand that the concept is true. I want you to understand that it's really, really real. If you become 1% better every day, mathematically, you're going to be 34 times better at that craft after 1 year. And after 2 years, you're going to be 1,600 times better at that craft. And after 3 years, you're going to be a staggering, mathematically, 37,000 times better at that craft if you're continually becoming 1% better every day. But you say, Todd, how do I become 1% better every day? I ask myself the same thing. I mean, it's easy to just say, hey, I'm 1% better every day. I'm going to be one. And the commitment is good. But I thought, maybe, what if I could give you something to tangibly touch, something you could reach for? Become 1% better every day. I want you to get better every day. So my good friend Barry Davis, a baseball coach for Rider University, legendary coach, a great guy. I met him through marriage, and he's just an amazing, amazing man. I love him. I hope you're listening. Dr. Barry, great guy. And we were talking about it, and he also read the book Atomic Habit along with me, and we started thinking about it. And he says, 1% better, and the mathematical equation for 1% better is, let's put some science behind it. In 24 hours a day at 60 minutes an hour is roughly 1,440 minutes a day. Think about that. 1,440 minutes a day. Well, if there's 1,440 minutes a day, there's 60 seconds in a minute. So that gives us 86,400 seconds in a day. Well, if we just, for some reason, decided to take 1% of that, that would be 864 seconds in one day, would equal 1% of a day. Well, ironically enough, if you convert 860 seconds into minutes, that's 14 minutes and 24 seconds. Now we got something. So what are you trying to tell me, Todd? Well, I'm trying to tell you that there is a way to actually qualify, quantify, understand how we could possibly become 1% better every day. The principle of becoming better is to do something every day in your craft. If you want to get better at your craft, let's do it every day. And if you want to get 1% better at that craft every day, mathematically, that's 14 minutes and 24 seconds. So here's the thing I want to share with you is that if you truly want to get better, think about this idea of becoming 1% better every day. Now think about how you can qualify it in your life. Think about how you can program your subconscious to become better every day, knowing that if you do something 14 minutes and 24 seconds in the same craft, your same discipline, something that you want to dominate in your life, for 14 minutes and 24 seconds every day, you're going to become 34 times better at that craft in 1 year, mathematically. And it's staggering to the idea that if you continue to do it every day for 15 minutes, 14 minutes, 24 seconds, you're going to become 1,600 times better in 2 years. And in 3 years, it's a staggering 37,000 times better in 3 years. Think about improving yourself that way in your craft. Now you say, how does that affect you, Todd? Well, I got to tell you that it has affected me. And I started thinking about this yesterday because I was talking to that very man, Brandon, and he was talking about improving his radio show or his podcast. And he actually gave me a comment. He says, I remember, Todd, when you started this podcast, it was a year or so ago, and it was out on maybe the patio, and it was random, and it was fun, but, you know, this or that. And now I watch your show, and it's dramatically changed. And I said, Brandon, well, that's because I'm doing it every day. I mean, some of you have seen the progression of the show. Some of you, a lot of you have said, man, the show has really improved. It's really a podcast now. I mean, it's on at the same time. You got music, you got lights, you got a background, you got a walk-up intro, you got an outro intro. But I want you to understand, if there's one little quick thing I could talk to you about today, one little quick thing that I could share with you today is that look at the progression of maybe just this little show that we have fun. Every morning at 7:30, like clockwork, Monday through Friday, I'm here for you. And I'm actually here for myself because the truth be known, the biggest reason I got on this is because Chad told me to get on it. He says, Todd, you got to go every day. You got to have the same time. You've got to do the reps. Don't you listen to your own writings? I'm like, of course I listen to my writings, but I'm looking at all these other things. And he says, what do you want to be in life? I'm like, dude, who's your coach? Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Brandon. But I really want this for you. I want this aggregational marginal gain mentality to sink in. I'm your coach. I'm your friend. My job is to love you. My job is to lead you. My job is to learn you, right? My job is to lesson you. My job is to encourage you, motivate you. I really want these things for you. And we've got some scientific things and some business practices and all my coaching, my Wire Differently Academy. We've got all these lessons. I'm going to take you through them. I'm going to teach you the X's and the O's and all that kind of stuff. But literally, the foundation of what we're trying to do here is to understand how to control the mind to get us to those places to do those things. And one of the things I'm going to teach you is the 1% rule. Think about it one more time. There's 24 hours in a day. There's 60 minutes in a day. 60 minutes times 24 hours comes out to 1,440 minutes, right, in a day. If there's 1,440 hours in a day, 1,400 minutes in a day times 60 seconds is 86,400 minutes in a day. Man, have I butchered that. There's 86,400 minutes in a day. So that's 86,400. I'm actually going to do this right now. 24 hours times 60 is 1,440 minutes in a day. That's 60 seconds of 14. That's 86,400 seconds in a day. At 1% of that is 860 seconds in a day, which is 1%, which is 14 minutes and 24. Wow, man, do the math. Check me out. It's right. That's exactly 14 minutes and 24 seconds a day. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Qualify your 1%. Find out what your craft is. Find out what you want to do with your life. Figure out how to become, and just isolate 14 minutes and 24 seconds a day on your craft. It's not a lot of time. I mean, think about it. If your day was $1 and I asked you to just give me a penny of your dollar every day, that would be 1% of your day. 1 penny of $1 becomes 1% of your day, equals to becoming 34 times better at your craft over 1 year. Take that out 2 years, you become 1,600 times better in 2 years and 37,000 times better over 3 years, just by divvying out 1 penny out of $1 if it was equatable to the day of time in your life. I mean, can't you give up 1 penny of $1 a day when it equates to a time? Think about that. 14 minutes and 24 seconds every day, every morning. Now equate that to your personal life. Equate that to your spiritual life. Now equate that to your business life. Self-improvement, 14 minutes and 24 minutes a day on some self-improvement, push-ups, sit-ups, going to the gym, some cardio, some anaerobic, some metabolic, something, 14 minutes and 24 seconds every day, 1% to be better personally. Think about it spiritually, 1% in the Bible every morning, doing your reps, doing your scriptures, doing your journaling, doing your reading, doing your devotionals, 14 minutes and 20. That's not much to ask from a spiritual perspective. Right? And from an entrepreneurial perspective, what is your craft? I'm only talking about if you're an accountant, go study some law, go study some disciplines, go get it 14 minutes and 24 seconds outside of your job. Do it every day. Now, I'm literally have just told you how to spend 45 minutes of your day to make yourself better personally 37 times in 1 year, 1,600 times in 2 years, 37,000 times in 3 years. And I've showed it to you in 3 disciplines. David Brailsworth did it in how many? Like 10, 15, 20 disciplines and became the best cycling coach the world ever seen because he taught people how to aggregate these marginal gains. See how it comes together for you? I want you to understand that this is real. This is something that's really tangible for you to take in your life today. This is something that I'm passionate about. This is something I want to coach you on. I want to talk to you about you, man. I want you to understand. I get up every morning. I put these talks together every morning. I think of you every morning. How can you become 1% better every day? How can I help you become 1% better every day? How can I help you pick the disciplines to become a meager 1% every day? How can we take these 1% gains over 5 or 10 disciplines and aggregate those marginal gains? I've just given you a footprint, a map, a blueprint, a play for you to think about today. Write down 5 or 6 areas in your life that you could improve 1% every day. Think about that. Write down 3 or 4 things in your spiritual life you could do differently every day. And then just pick one of those. Just pick one of the personal. Pick one of the spiritual. Now go over to your business side, the profitable side, the income side, and pick one of those disciplines as well. I mean, I know you can do it. I've done it. I've wrote about it. You will be done. Get the book. Go to toddsaylor.com. They're still on sale. I think they're still on sale there for the pre-order. Chris would have to check me on that. I just want to let you know we're shipping out those books on July 19th. We've got some emails. It's coming out July 19th. You're going to get the e-workbook. On the pre-order, we gave you your e-workbook for $29.99. We gave you the audio book for $29.99. We gave you the paperback for $29.99, and we paid for the shipping for $29.99. It was a great deal. In that book, Section 1, Chapter 1, Plateau, Latent Potential, we talk about this very thing of getting 1% better every day. We break it down. 14 minutes and 24 seconds every day to change your life to become 37 times better in 1 year, 16, whatever, 1,600 times better in 2 years, and 37,000. I know we're going to round up for a little bit, but I want you to understand I'm thinking about you. And this is factual. Do the reps. Get your craft in line. Get your personal self in line. Get your business profits in line. I love you. I love you. I love you. You can become 1% better every day following these simple principles. So get to toddsaylor.com. I'm rooting for you. Take these things out into the world. Share them with your friends. You guys have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. God bless you guys.